So it sounds like thumb drives are going to be the way for everybody who's going to be doing anything online. Okay, does everybody have it open? Okay, so we're going to kind of go through kind of the interface here for a little bit, and then kind of the how to move around and how it functions. So does anybody know what Navisworks is used for to start us off? What's the main purpose of Navisworks?
Does it navigate through the model?
It is to navigate through the model, but what's the main focus of the software?
Clash detection.
Clash detection. Yep. So we're not going to go over clash detection today. Today is just more getting you guys used to moving around and seeing what's in the model. Clash detection is a little bit later down the road. But yeah, the main point of Navisworks, and there are plenty of other things you can use it for. A 4D schedule, create a 4D schedule so it sequences everything. Most companies use Synchro instead, just a little bit nicer. You can do it in Navisworks, and then really it's mainly for coordination purposes, clash detection, making sure everything kind of fits, and then facilities management after the fact. So to get us started here, does everybody on the right hand part of your screen, do you guys see this little toolbar? Everybody sees that? Yep. Okay, if not, there should be a section, if you go to View, Windows. Oh, mine's too far down. But there should be a little checkbox in towards the bottom. I don't know why my screen's cutting off, but there should be one in there that allows you to turn this on and off. Also show tile bar, helps too. But if you already have it, just don't click the X. If you don't, two hotkeys that you'll want to write down are Control 1 and Control 2. So you got to hold down Control and hit 1, hit Control and hit 2. And all that does is it toggles what method of movement you're going to be in. So the first one, if we hit Control 1, this basically works like Revit. So it's mostly panning and scrolling and holding stuff down, and like just like how Revit works, so you have to like kind of pan your screen over, and it's not super smooth and fluid. That's this kind of method. So some of the controls in this, in Control 1, or if you want to use this taskbar over here, the little pointer, the select down at the bottom is also considered Control 1. But your scroll wheel will zoom in and out. Okay. If you hold your scroll wheel down, push it down, and go to the right or go to the left, that's how you move. It kind of just moves your screen along with it. Okay. And then to look up and to look down, you have to shift. So if you hold shift down with your finger and then your other finger with your scroll wheel, this works just like the orbiting tool in Revit. So if you're looking at something in 3D and you want to look around it, you can select an object, hold down shift, and then you can move around that object. Now, if you don't have a specific object selected, it will just go around the pivot point, which is generally in the center of the building. So if I zoom all the way out, I just kind of rotate with shift, I can kind of rotate around the building, okay? So you guys want to get used to that. Now, one thing that this mode is not good for, and when I work, I go through both. So I go in between both methods of movement. This one is really good at selecting a specific object. If someone's got a question like, oh, what kind of pipe is that? This is really good for selecting it and bringing up the properties bar and figuring out what that actually is. The other method, I can't do that. I have to like right click, then go to select object, and it's a lot longer of a process. The caveat on this one is you can't really zoom, you can't really go through an object. So if you try to scroll in anywhere and try to go through any object, so notice I'm going to try to go through this wall right now. I'm just sitting here and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling before I actually break through that object. I'm still not through it yet. See how long that's taking me to do? That's the downside to the pivot method, right? Now, the good side to it, like I said, is the selecting. I can sit here and select on all these, once they appear, all these objects. Like this roof, I can select the roof, be done with it, okay? That's one method. The other method is the fly method, okay? And this is where I would personally recommend you guys try to get used to. So after I show you this, I just want you guys, we'll fly down, we'll find a hallway, and you're just gonna take 5 or 6 minutes, and you're just gonna kind of fly through the building and kind of get used to the controls. Now the controls, they get it might be a little fast, might be a little slow, we can change settings. I would just recommend keeping it on default. And then if that's not enough for you, we can change it. But in your scroll, or over on the side menu where it shows those icons, it's the walk method. So if you hit walk, it's the same as hitting Control 2. And you'll know you've done this right if your cursor shows up and you got 2 little feet standing there next to you. Okay, this one is a lot easier to use. My scroll wheel acts as your head. So if you scroll, it changes where you're kind of looking at, okay? And then if you use your right finger or your left click on your mouse and you pan one way, it rotates as if you're rotating your body, okay? So you pan and just slide your mouse over, it'd be like as if you're rotating. Now, what?
How do you do it?
So you click down, and then you just, if you're wanting to look to the right, you just grab your mouse and kind of drag it to the right. If you want to look left, you drag to the left. But you don't have to keep dragging and dragging and dragging. As soon as you start that motion, it just keeps going. So you don't have to sit there and just keep like dragging your mouse across. Now, how you move forward and backward is the same thing, but now it's up and down on the mouse. So if you click that left click and you drag your mouse down, it will go down. If you drag your mouse forward, it will go forward on the X and Y axis. Okay. If you want to go up and down, you hold the mouse, or the scroll wheel, click that down, and that will change your elevation. So if I want to go down, I just hold my mouse just slightly down, and I'll start to move down into the building. And then same if I want to go up. Okay, I can go up. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. This one is a lot easier to navigate once you get used to it. So I'm going to swing over here. I'm going to go to the front entrance of the building. Okay. And if you want to get rid of these green grids, if you go to your View tab and hit, there's a button called Show Grid. Turn that off. It makes it a little bit easier to see. What are you going to say?
Up and down again?
Up and down? In which,
like changing your X and Y axis.
So the scroll wheel will have you look. So if I scroll.
So that's changing my elevation.
So to change your elevation, you hold your scroll wheel, and then you go up.
Okay, you just scroll with it.
Not scroll
to
with.
Like look your head up.
Yeah, to look your head up, you scroll, and to actually change, you hold it down. Yeah, so what I want you guys to do is just go down, find a hallway, and just kind of fly through the building for a little bit. Yeah.
How do you move back and forth?
So back and forth is it's your left click.